Nothing going on today. How we doing, YouTube? Parrish Tanner here with Ocalacar Audio. Wanted to go over a couple products we just got in to tell you what they are, why we've got them, and why you want to pay attention to them. A lot of you guys already know we do a lot of motorcycles here in Ocala. We love to ride. Great places all around, a lot of good back roads, country roads, and you can get to the beach pretty easy. So I want to show you a few things that we're using on them. This is for the 14 and up Harley baggers and anybody else that is using those style bags if you're doing a custom. And this one's one of our new lids we got in. Allows us to put a single 6x9 in the bag lid of your Harley bagger. Comes with a grill and everything else. We'll transfer your existing hardware over to this. If for some reason you're doing a custom that doesn't come with Harley bags and you want to do it, we can get those bags for you and get that taken care of. If you've got your 14 and up bagger and you want to go and do the stretch bags, we can get those for you. And we'll use Claudio over at Paintworks. He'll be able to match your factory Harley colors for you pretty good. And we can make it a simple, painless option for you. So on a Road King that doesn't have speakers or a radio, it's a great option to put something in there without changing the looks of the bike too much. Or if you're just wanting to get a little more sound on a Street Glide, like Kenny's Street Glide, we'll be doing a set of these on there. We order them in the Vivid Black already, so if you've got one of the 32 trillion black Harleys out there, you don't have to worry about the paint on it. But if you want to do a custom color like on mine or some of the others, we can help you with that. Well, if you do the Harley bag lids on one of the Road Kings, which by the way, we have these in the 13 and down bag lids also. We can do them with a single 6x9 or dual 6x9. So if you want to get a little more aggressive on those, we can do 8-inch or other speakers as well. But if you're going to go ahead and do these, you're going to need an amplifier to help drive them. Here are some of the Hertz HMP 4Ds that we've recently brought in. It's one of the newer Hertz amps. Heard some really good stuff about it. I have not played with them a lot yet, but just hearing some good stuff about them. I want to give them a shot since we're doing a full Hertz audio system on there. Whenever we unbox it, the first thing we're going to notice, it comes pretty well packed. One of the things that I like, as you're looking at it, there are no longer any of those set screws or barrier strips and stuff like that on this amplifier. JL Audio did that for a while, or still does that on their MX series amps. I like that idea. What's cool is these amps, the newer generations of amps that we're dealing with, are designed for off-road use, for power sports and things like that. So the problem with a traditional marinized amplifier is all it is a car audio amp that they've put some silicone spray on it or sealed it up a little bit, but you still got all the gain holes and everywhere, the settings for it that water can get into if you submerge it. On this one, you're not going to deal with that. What you've got here is it's completely sealed all the way around on it. I don't know that you can see it here, but there are 4 set screws or Allen head screws here that you'll access the controls to be able to get what you need on that. Let me see what else they come with in here. Should come with the Allen screw or the Allen head, Allen key. So that does, you got the owner's manual in here whenever we check the amplifier out. It's like every time I get a new product, it's kind of like a kid in a candy store getting to see the new stuff. Some of you guys think I'm a little silly with it sometimes, but just something about a new amp, something like that, that you get to play with, and it's that shiny new penny that some people like to say that I enjoy. But we try to stick with products that are well known, or companies that are well versed in the products. And that's one of the things that I like about the Hertz product. I'm going to go ahead and open the ends of this up so we can discuss exactly how that goes on here, kind of give you a better understanding. But one of the things that I've liked about Hertz is they are an Italian-based company. Electromedia is their parent company. Their sister company is Audison, which had the bit processors and different things like that. The Thesis amplifiers are a beautiful, beautiful showpiece of an amplifier that are just insane high-end. When you're looking at a 2-channel amplifier that's $10,000, $15,000 for a 2-channel car amplifier, You know, we're not going to sell very many of those, um, obviously, and neither are they. But the cool thing about that is it's the technology that goes into it. And when you're dealing with a company like Electromedia, they're not going over to Asia to say, okay, where's the build houses that are building the products, and let's go meet with their engineers to see what they've come up with that they've adopted or taken from other people. A company like Electromedia still engineers a lot of their own stuff. They may build some stuff offshore or in Asia or wherever, but they still have their own engineers that are helping design it and do it. And the factory in Asia that is building some of the Hertz stuff, Electromedia actually has a ownership stake in it, not just hiring whoever you've got on there. Sorry, dropping that little plate off of here. I'll have to pick that up in a bit. But when you have the ownership stake in it, it helps you maintain a higher level of quality control. You're less likely to have them change the glue on you, change a product that you may not notice that they use to build the amp or speakers. So you know that they're using what's been spec'd, they're doing things. So that's one of the things that I like. We've got a basic high-low input on there, so we can send speaker level in or RCA level in. We're going to have a front high-pass crossover set at 65, 85, or 115 hertz. So depending on the size of speaker that you're using, or we can just run at full range if we want to use a external crossover or one in a head unit, or we want to run full range. You got your separate gain control, and then on the rear, we're going to have matching crossovers, matching setups, and matching gain. Let me grab this plate. So pick that back up, and we'll be able to get that back on. If I don't put it on now, I'm not going to later. So, you know, the Hertz, I've been dealing with Electromedia for a number of years. My first introduction to them was back many years back. There was a company called Red Mountain Audio that used to be the distributor for them. When I was introduced to them my very first time, you know, 20 some years ago, 15, 20 years ago, then Electromedia out in our advanced marketing out in California is the distributor that now brings them in. They bring in the Hertz and the Audison. They stand behind the products. We just had some stuff that we had piled up for the last year or more that we had to send back, or not send back, get RAs on, and we were able to do field destroys on those. What that means for me, and what that means for you as a consumer, when I'm dealing with a company like that that stands behind it and makes it easier for me to do business, guess what I can do for you? That means I can stand behind you a little bit differently. I can warranty your products a little differently, and I can take care of you better than if I happen to have the flavor of the week that I don't mean anything to. But when you're dealing with a company like that, that allows me to stand behind you a little bit better, and that allows me to treat you like a local part of the community because I'm being treated like that from the vendor. So yeah, you can say, hey, can you give me brand XYZ? Yes, I can. I've been doing it long enough, but I really just don't think that's the right thing in a lot of cases. If I can find a product for you from one of our primary vendors, they're going to take care of us. We can take care of you and stand behind the warranty better. And that's just important when it all comes down to it. So what's kind of cool on these amps is we'll be able to, we've got a fuse holder built right here. We'll also still fuse it close to the battery. We got our speaker wires and everything on here. We'll wind up, when we make our connections, we'll use soldered connections or at minimum marine grade butt connectors that we can heat shrink around there so we don't get corrosion on the wire going in there. We got our RCAs that will seal up as well. We're actually going to be able to mount this on the frame rails of one of the Harleys so it doesn't go into the bag. Makes a more solid connection whenever it comes time for power and other things like that, because you're not having to use a quick connect on the power, but you're going to lose a little bit of transfer in there. So that's what we'll do with that. And that's why we like these little powerhouses. If we don't do it like that, we'll take and put these in the fairings, like on the road glides. We can easily fit 2 or more of these in the fairing, and on some of the street glides, if we get creative, we can place them in the fairings also. What that means for us is I had another bike come in to me at the old store over on 27th that somebody had installed an amplifier that had that's designed as a power sports, but has a quick plug on it that comes in and out easily. Well, the problem with putting the amplifier like that in your, oh, I almost dropped that, in your saddlebag is over time, if you're like me, you probably have leathers and jackets and whatever else that you throw in that saddlebag all the time. And if you're throwing your leathers and everything else in the saddlebag all the time, what's going to happen is they're going to catch on that and start breaking those connections and causing intermittent issues that can eventually lead to permanent issues that you're having. And that's one of the reasons we try not to do that style in there if we have to, unless we absolutely have to. If you go to our Facebook, you'll see and I think I have it on our YouTube also, a video of a Springfield, in Indian Springfield, with a Rockford amp that had those style of connectors. So on that one, we actually built a little plastic housing to protect that from the leathers that are in the bag. So that's part of what we try to do is we want to make sure that you can enjoy the ride problem-free without getting some issues. Even if it takes a little extra work. We're going to set these off to the side for a minute. You're not supposed to turn your back to the camera, but it's life. It's what happens. So what I do want to show you also is the new Mille Pros. These have been doing a very phenomenal job on the bikes for quite a while now. On these, it's one of their new point source style speakers. Some are going to call it a coaxial. I like the term point source. I don't remember who the first companies that I heard using it when I was a young kid was. The Kef used that. Now, I remember the old Eclipse ones called the point. They had the point source. Matt's has a series like that. We just did it in Claudio from Paintworks and his Audi. Well, part of what you're going to find, do you have another pair of coaxials around? You can hand me one, please. I just want to do a compare and contrast real quick. You got a nice cast basket on this, sturdy. Hertz has always built a great sounding product that I just love to death. Anyway, what you're going to see here is if you see on a traditional coaxial, the tweeter is on a little pole, it sticks out and comes here. In some aspects, that tweeter may come out farther, making it a challenge to mount somewhere. Theory of audio, in some cases, is going to say, since this tweeter is here, that tweeter is going to meet my ear at a different point than the rest of the cone. It's not as true and linear and blah, 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 blah. Now, there's some real merit to that, but what it means to you in the real world may not be a whole lot. But what you do have is, just in case you're that person that can actually hear the difference, Hertz has developed the Mille Pros as a point source. If you see the tweeter is flush with the back of the cone, so that the higher frequencies are going to all reach your ear at the same time. Like I said, I blah, blah, blah a minute ago, but what you're going to find is you may actually be one of those that can hear the difference. And if there's a chance that you can, why risk it and go with something less? You've got pretty good power handling with all the Hertz speakers. Really good efficiency on these as well. That's one of the things I do like about them. If you've ever ridden with me or been around, I like my music loud and obnoxious many times. Well, the Hertz really cuts through, does well. The upper end Hertz typically have extremely good mid-bass response, so I can hear my vocals extremely well. I can hear the guitars and the crunch of the guitars, not a real hollow sound on them. I want to have something that really keeps up with what you got. Let me see here. The Hertz products are warranted under normal functioning conditions for a period set by laws and force. Typically, we're going to have about a 3-year warranty on most of the Hertz stuff. In here, they're going through and suggesting how we can do some crossover setups for you. I don't believe these come with a crossover unless you get into the components separate. Yeah, they don't. So they're going to be a true coaxial or point source style that you don't have to use the external crossover. I was looking for the efficiencies on these. And I'm not seeing it off the top of my head. And, part of this is me just doing the videos to show you what they are, but we ain't perfect, we ain't flashy, we ain't polished. We are just men doing what we do, that we enjoy it and have a passion. And that's kind of what we've done with the Hertz products, with the vendors that you'll find us picking. I let them do the hard work. I let them design the products. I let them do what they do, and I find the guys that we trust. And the Hertz stuff is the guys that we trust. Matt is telling me if they're 92 dB at 1 watt 1 meter, which that means at running 1 watt of power through here, 1 meter away, it's going to be producing about 92 of efficiency, which is fairly respectable. As far as the power handling goes on these, Matt, what do we got on power handling? What is 100 continuous and 200 peak. So any of the amps that we've been putting on those will all do that for you. So the new Hertz HMP 4s, yep, the 4Ds, those are a 600 watt peak, about 300 RMS, rated at 60 by 4, but they're going to do some that would really work out well. In some cases, we're going to use an amp like that, bridge it to the front speakers, tone it down just a little bit, if that's all you've got. And then when you go in and add the bag lids in the back, we can take the other channels off of the amplifier or off of the speakers, tune it up a little bit, run the other ones to the rear. So it gives you some flexibility and some growth that you may not do it today, but you may do it in the future. Well, we've got a street glide coming in from Orlando in a week or so that we're doing a pretty hefty upgrade that these are going into, those bag lids are going into. So if you stay tuned, we'll have another video of that. I do want to take a look at these, the new 6x9s that they got. You got a second, Matt? Let me, if you want to, I'll let you actually step in here for a minute and unbox the 6x9s and take a look at them and open them up. Just watch the microphone that we got there. I'll get these out of your way. This is Matt. A lot of you guys have met him. So.
What's up, folks? Very large box on the out of your way.
He said box.
Beasts.
Now that is one thing that's different there. A lot of the Hertz speakers are designed to go in OEM factory locations. And when you do that, we don't necessarily have to use or want to use the grills that come with them. The 6x9s, often we're going to put them in the rear deck of a vehicle or in some other areas. So the 6.5s that we would, or 5x7s that we put in an OEM location, do not come with grills. But the 6x9s are coming with grills.
Optional 2-piece grills. Or 3-piece, actually.
What's kind of cool about this kind of setup, on some of the bag lids, if we're going to do them for you, if you wanted to go more basic, yeah, you really wouldn't want to put them on like this because it's going to overlap. But we can have Tyler or Nate or one of the guys fiberglass them into your lids if you wanted something more custom, or put them on the inside. Or if we get you one of the bag lids, they'll take a 6x9 that you can show off. Some of the Victories have some real nice ones like that. We can actually paint this grill to give you more of a custom look for what you're doing.
6x9, those are square.
You can't put a round speaker in a square hole.
Yep.
So why would I want that with what we have two different styles. I'll let you take over here for a second. But why would we want to we have two different lids here. Why?
Well, it's kind of like cars. You have options. You have entry level and you have full tilt bozo. So this is for the guy that really wants to get loud. 2 6x9. Well, there's other options too. There's 2 6x9s are going to give you a lot of cone area, so therefore you're going to get a lot of sound out of it. Cone area plus power equals volume. So when you want the most that you can get out of it, the more speakers with the more channels of high power, clean amplification, the better. Can't go wrong. What
you'll find on a 6x9, it actually has the same cone area as an 8-inch subwoofer.
Cone area. So you get pretty decent mid bass when you use a speaker like this versus a typical 6.5 is what you would have on most, or even 5 1/4 on some others. And as you can see, this is a beastly 6x9. Very big magnet, nice cast back.
Hey Nate, how you doing? Hey. Nate's one of those fools in the back that's going to hook this up for you and really annoy the neighbors.
Yep. And when it comes to installing these things, a lot of times you mentioned about the tweeter sticking out further. You notice on this one, the surround actually sticks out further than the mounting tabs. So we're going to have to use a step-off type spacer when mounting it on these bags so that the surround does not in any way touch that, because it will damage the speaker, give you bad sound. So that's where installation comes into play. Thanks, guys.
Okay. Anyway, so that's some of what we do. We'll put a ton of power to those, make them sound good, go with what we've got, and it's kind of like go with what you know. The Hertz has done well for me for a long time, and we're excited. If you want to check out some of the Hertz, see what's up. I know this video ran a little bit longer than I had anticipated, but Really, we don't do scripted here. We don't do it very well. So we appreciate y'all tuning in for a minute, and have a great day. Thank you.